It's late evening. The room is quiet. You're standing in the kitchen, staring at the sink, holding a phone that just buzzed a minute ago. Nothing bad happened today. You did what you were supposed to do. Still, there's that familiar feeling, like something didn't quite land. Like you're falling short in a way no one can see. You go through your day, checking boxes, answering messages, showing up. From the outside, things look fine. But inside, there's this steady hum of disappointment you can't point to. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just there. Why does it feel like you're failing? Quietly? What a lot of people experience here isn't a big collapse or an obvious mistake. It's something more subtle. A sense that effort isn't turning into progress the way it used to. That no one is clapping, but no one is criticizing either. And somehow, that silence feels heavier than feedback ever did. This is about what happens when your inner scorecard keeps running, even when no one else is keeping track. Quiet failure often isn't about doing badly. It's about doing okay and still feeling behind. You meet expectations, but you don't feel settled. You keep moving, but without the sense that you're arriving anywhere. So instead of relief, there's this low-grade tension, like you're always one step late to your own life. One common reason this shows up is when your effort has been steady for a long time, but the feedback has been thin. You work, you try, you adapt, but nothing clearly says, yes, this counts. There may be no milestones, no markers that tell you you're on the right track. Over time, your mind fills in the gap. It starts assuming that silence means something is wrong. So even neutral days start feeling like losses, and steady effort begins to feel invisible. It can look like finishing a long task at work, sending it off, and then refreshing your inbox more than you'd like to admit. Not because you want praise, but because you want confirmation that what you did mattered at all. When it doesn't come, your body quietly tightens, and the thought creeps in, maybe this wasn't enough. Sometimes, it comes from carrying a private version of yourself that no one else sees. For a lot of people, it starts when you hold yourself to a standard that lives entirely inside your head. Maybe it came from earlier years, being the reliable one, the capable one, the person who doesn't need help. That image sticks. And even as life changes, the standard doesn't adjust with it. So you keep measuring yourself against a version of success that no longer fits your current season. You compare your tired self to your past energy. Your slower pace to an old rhythm. And when they don't match, you assume something has gone wrong. This can show up in small moments. You rest for an afternoon, then feel uneasy about it. You take longer to decide, and quietly judge yourself for it. No one else notices. No one says anything. But inside, the gap between who you are and who you think you should be starts to feel like failure, even though nothing is technically failing. Over time, another layer shows up when progress becomes hard to see. Not because you're stuck, but because growth has turned internal. You're learning boundaries. You're unlearning old habits. You're carrying more context, more responsibility, more nuance. But these changes don't come with obvious rewards. From the outside, it looks like you're standing still. From the inside, you're doing heavy lifting. This is where quiet failure really takes hold. When the work is real, but invisible. When effort doesn't translate into clear wins. When you're becoming more thoughtful, more careful, maybe even wiser, but none of that shows up on a scoreboard. So your mind starts telling a story. If no one sees this, maybe it doesn't count. And if it doesn't count, maybe you're falling behind. Imagine this. It's a weekday evening, around 9:30. You're sitting on the couch, laptop open, scrolling without really reading. Earlier, you wrapped up something important. Not huge, but meaningful. You handled a conversation well. You made a choice that took restraint. You stayed calm where you used to react. No one congratulated you. There was no before and after moment. Life just moved on. Now, in the quiet, your chest feels heavy. You replay the day, not looking for what went wrong, but for something that proves it went right. You don't quite find it. So the unease settles in. That thought, I'm doing all this, and it still feels like I'm losing ground. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what silent failure can feel like, not a crash, but a slow erosion of confidence that happens when growth isn't reflected back to you. It doesn't yell. It just whispers questions late at night. There's a small shift that can soften this feeling, even if it doesn't erase it. Instead of asking, why doesn't this feel like enough? Try asking, what kind of progress am I making that doesn't show up right away? Then answer with specifics, even if they seem unimpressive. Maybe you paused instead of reacting. Maybe you noticed a pattern before repeating it. Maybe you chose something harder but steadier. These aren't dramatic wins, but they are real movements forward. This works because quiet failure feeds on vagueness. When progress stays unnamed, your mind fills the space with doubt. Naming what changed, even subtly, gives your effort somewhere to land. Another gentle practice is to separate effort from outcome, just slightly. At the end of the day, write down one thing you put real care into. Not whether it worked. Not whether it paid off. Just that you showed up for it with intention. Over time, this creates a record your mind can't easily erase. When the familiar thought returns, "Nothing I do matters," you have quiet proof that something is happening, even if it hasn't rippled outward yet. This doesn't turn everything around overnight, but it can take the edge off that constant, low-level disappointment. It reminds your nervous system that effort itself has weight, even when the world stays quiet. Because sometimes, the feeling of failing isn't about falling short. Sometimes it's about growing in ways that don't get applause. Sometimes it's about carrying more awareness, more care, more responsibility, without the old signals that told you were doing fine. And this is especially common for people who look okay on the outside. People who keep things moving. People who don't make a scene. People whose struggles don't interrupt the room. If that sounds familiar, it doesn't mean you're invisible. It means your work has moved inward. Quiet failure often shows up right before a deeper kind of alignment. Not because something magical is coming, but because the old measures have stopped working, and new ones haven't fully formed yet. You're not behind. You're just between versions of progress. This space can feel lonely, especially when no one asks how it's really going. But there's nothing wrong with you for feeling this way. It's a natural response to effort without reflection, growth without markers, care without recognition. If this resonated, you're not the only one carrying it. And you don't have to rush to name it perfectly. Sometimes, just knowing what this feeling is, that quiet sense of failing without evidence, is enough to let it loosen its grip, even a little.